Everyone, thanks for tuning in. So second video, I'm just trying to break these down to 3 to 7 minute clips and keep them short. So the last video we talked about suspension. It was intimidating until I watched a couple of videos and realized it's very simple. These these caps are only finger tight. You need to make sure you support your bike, because when you take those caps off, if it's not supported, the whole front end will come crashing down. But you take out your springs, you put in the new ones. If you want more information on that, check the previous video. Otherwise, Dual Sport Derek has a good little video on it as well. So the next thing I did was the sprocket, because this bike, it's a good bike, but it's watered down. They choke the bike or restrict the bike, whatever you want to call it, for two reasons. The main one being it's designed for beginner to intermediate riders, and two, it's watered down for California to meet emissions. So because the engine's slightly choked, we'll get to that next. It loses torque and power, but we'll talk about that. It's an easy fix, and you truly do gain 6 horsepower, but not overall, just in the mid-range. So the next mod I did was I replaced the sprocket. It comes with a 14 tooth sprocket on it. I put on a 13. You just remove these two bolts here, come out real easy, 8mm bolts, I believe. You take off the back tire, not hard, or actually you don't even take it off. You just loosen up this. You need a 22mm and a 27mm wrench. You will need an impact wrench. The nut inside of here is torqued on very tight. People will say you can do it with a breaker bar, but you're just going to get really frustrated and either hurt yourself or tip your bike over from all the torque. You don't need an expensive impact wrench. This one's 80 bucks. And I think it's 80 Newton meters. So it's the low end of the power. That's all you need. And I'm not gonna be using this for more than working on my bike. So I just went with a cheap one. Value-wise, I'm not sure if this is a cheap brand, but it was low cost. So that's what I bought. The nut comes off very easy. There's a washer behind it that is bent over, so you have to straighten out the washer, remove that, loosen these up, loosen that, slide the wheel forward, and then you can take the chain guard off if you want. Again, 8mm, really easy, and you pull the chain off. When you do that, you pull the chain off up here, you undo the bolt very easily, take off the sprocket, put on a new sprocket, set the chain back on, you're good to go. So the downside is there's a guard right here, and because you're gonna have a smaller sprocket, your chain will chew up that guard over time. So what I would do differently is, even though it's more work and it's definitely more intimidating, I would remove and replace the rear sprocket. Every 3 teeth up on the back is equal to 1 tooth down on the front. So there's pros and cons. When you put a smaller sprocket on the front, you have to move your axle back, which gives you a longer wheel-to-wheel base, which will give you better stability. It'll make the bike kind of ride more smoothly, for lack of a better term. If you put a bigger sprocket on the back and leave the original sprocket on the front, then the wheel has to get moved forward. This gives you a shorter wheelbase. If you want tighter turning, great, but your bike won't track as smoothly as it would when you stretch out the wheelbase. So that's what I did second. Hope that helps. And I know I'm not walking you through these videos on how to do it. There's tons of videos out there, so I'm just trying to give you the overview and what I found. Like I said, beware. People make it sound like that nut right behind this guard comes off easily. It does not. You need a impact wrench. So buy one, use it, get it done. Odds are you're gonna end up doing more work on your bike than you ever thought, but that's half the fun, right? So that's what I did to gain some torque. The next video, I'm gonna talk about how I opened up the airflow on the engine to gain power. Some people snicker and laugh. They're like, oh, that doesn't really work. Well, I research everything. That's what I do. I'm a stock market investor / analyst. So researching and analyzing things is what I do 24/7. If I say it, 99.9% of the time, I've done all the research to verify it. So tune in next time and we'll talk about airflow.